Back to the phone lines we go. Ella, welcome to the program.
Hi.
Hi there.
I'm a vegan, and I was listening to you talk about, like, Thanksgiving and holidays and whatnot.
Yes, and how rude vegans can be. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with, like, both sides or whatever, but there's also, like, a stance against the environment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think being a vegan, I did it for the environmental reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And but as a consumer, everything I put my dollar on is a vote. And so I think to go against animal products, you also are helping the environment. And I think that should be appreciated and not necessarily.
But what about the large number of research that's been done that shows that a vegetarian diet is actually a net negative to the environment versus a standard diet? What about that stuff?
I haven't read too much research on that necessarily, but maybe this thing I've been looking at is biased. But I think that when you're growing a plant, it's helping the environment in a lot of different ways, whereas an animal...
So you're pro-global warming?
No, I'm completely against global warming. I understand,
but it grows more plants. Why would you be opposed to that?
No, I think growing more...
They're saying that. Yeah, they are saying
Oh.
is what I'm saying. So if the planet warms, they're saying that is actually good for trees and plant life and things like that. So
who said that?
It's actually Harvard did it. There's lots of research that talks about it. In fact, they're saying that as the planet is warmed, more and more plant life has become available. We have more trees now than we even thought we had before.
Oh, I guess I've never heard that research, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I just don't think that there has to be a negative outlook on veganism as like a...
I don't have... You can live your life any way that you want. And for whatever motivations that you want to have your diet, that's fine. But why on God's green earth would a vegan organization come out there with this sanctimonious rule thing, serve us first, don't have any meat there at all, accommodate us, coddle our feelings? Don't you think that's a little out of line?
Yeah, I wouldn't bring that to my family dinner.
Yeah, I mean, just that was my point. I don't care if you're vegan. I mean, we can debate the reasons and the merits of why you're vegan. I mean, I don't really care. It's your life. You live your life the way that you want. All I ask is that you let me live mine the way that I want. And this guide, which is put out there, is like, you know what? Your vegan relatives, they might be a little upset this holiday by seeing you murder a turkey, and we're not too happy about it. So why don't you just make sure that you go ahead and don't have the turkey and then serve all of us first? And then, I don't know, it just came off as a really, it came off as butthurt and petty is what it came off as.
Yeah, but I know, but I do like to get my food first because all the veggies are gone by the time I usually go. And I don't have
but see, Ella, you're the vegan.
Yeah.
You should bring the vegan plates.
I do bring them, but they're so good, everyone eats them.
Well, is that because all of your meat-eating relatives eat more than you?
Yeah.
So you've got to adjust your ratios. That's what we got to get at. Then you'll be okay.
All right. Well, I just thought it was such a negative outlook on vegans, and so I felt a little... Well,
it was less about the vegans. I didn't mean to attack the vegans and all of that. It was more about this stupid organization and their outlook on this. And then, as I kind of said, I get a little aggressive about this because of my personal experience with it. It does tend to come out because I've been in this position before where there's fights and there's arguments and there's also, how dare you even serve this stuff in our presence and all of that other stuff. It's just, I don't know. So a little bit of that probably came out, and that's probably what you're picking up on.
That's it. Also, interest rates on student debt really suck. So that's another part about the...
You know why?
Do
you know why, though? Because the government took them over.
I know. I know. And
like, what in the world? I know. I just paid them off in October of last year, and I was 39.
I know. I'm going to be there with you.
Yeah,
I'm 40.
You'll probably have. Well, hopefully you'll get it done pretty quick. There's a lot of people, especially younger, who have way more student debt than I had, and it took me all that time to get it paid off. It was awful, but I was so glad to get them out of there because the companies that deal with it too, they're allowed to abuse people. It's a whole horrible system. But if you're sitting there, if Notre Dame really does have $4.5 billion in endowments and that's tax-free, doesn't that kind of suck?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
No subsidies for anybody. Everybody gets equally harassed by the government, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's the universities, though, as well, because they're the ones that, up the tuition every year. It's like, why?
Well, sure. Yeah. Look, it's a marketing thing. Okay. Think of universities as a gym membership. Most, a large chunk, depending on the university, a large chunk are not going to graduate. And they know that. So they design these really stupid degree programs where you can major in dumb things like American Idol. And I bring that up because there was a degree program at one point about American Idol. I don't know if it still exists. And you could go to school and you could study American Idol. That would be your college path. Okay. Which isn't going to get you anything when you get out, but you'll, have tons of debt and everything else, and you're likely not going to graduate, and they're still going to get their money for it. So what do they care? And they just keep upping the ante on this, and then the government took over the loans, and it's irresponsible. It's not fair what they're doing, but as a young person, you still, and part of this is going to maybe be not having an adult with the experience or the knowledge also, but getting into these contracts and saying, I'm going to make tons of money because they told me if I go to college, I'm going to make more money. And that's not true.
No, you got to do more research.
Yeah. There's very few degree programs that are really worth it. And that's why every year I kind of do the worst degree programs and the best ones. And if people focus on those best ones, it may not be your big interest, but you'll always have a job somewhere. And then you can focus on doing what you like to do. And when things fall through, if they do, you have something to fall back on. I've got a nephew who's an accountant. He hates it. Hates it, but he makes really good money at it. And so he does that. That's his thing. And he's got his hobbies and whatnot to keep him sane, but he's always got a job. Doesn't matter where he goes. There you go. All right, Ella, I didn't mean to come off that way, but it does. It irritates me quite a bit. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
take care.
Have a good holiday.
You too. Bye-bye.